Hi, I'm Andrea. Thank you so much for joining me for this 30-minute yoga practice. I am standing on a yoga mat. If you don't have one, your living room rug or a carpeted area in your class work just fine. I have 2 yoga blocks. A terrific substitute would be 2 thick books. A folded blanket can be as simple as your beach towel, or maybe you've got a nice thick bath towel. And I have a sleeping dog. That's a great prop too. Just borrow one if you don't have one, maybe. We'll start standing with our feet hip distance in mountain pose. It's the foundational pose of all poses. I like a soft bend in our knees. Our feet are hip distance and parallel, and then we'll turn our palms away from each other. But feel that originate in our shoulder joint. And it's easy to interpret that as a lift of our chin. Let's let our chin instead hover parallel to the ground. It's more that we feel the crown of our head extending to the sky and our feet solidly in the earth. We'll turn our attention to our breath and experience fully each inhale and each exhale. If it's possible, let every inhale and exhale travel through your nose. However, I just want you to breathe with a bit of awareness, so any way that you breathe is fine. Let's just try to hold each other accountable for some awareness in our breath, in our presence of mind. Let's add some movement. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we'll simply float our arms along our sides with our palms facing out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V shape, and then we float our arms along our sides, palms facing out. Again, inhale, V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, float your arms along your sides, and we'll add on. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips. For this first one, let's take our hands onto our thighs with a little bend in our knees and use our thighs almost like a prop. Press your hands into your thighs, uplift your heart, lengthen your spine. Exhale, hinge at your hips, but let's try to take with us the length we just found in our spine as we fold. And then we'll inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and pause with our palms facing out. Adding more, inhale, V. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to thighs, or you might slide them down to your shins or your ankles, but remember how we're trying to keep that length in our spine? And like a little reminder, inhale, glide your hands up, uplift your heart. Exhale, hinge back in, and then we'll inhale and rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V. Pause in our mountain pose, palms facing out. Adding more, inhale, a V shape, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to your thighs or shins or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees deeply, palms flat. We will step now into down dog. It's our first down dog of the day, so let's take some time to refine. Push the ground away with your hands. So what we don't want is bent elbows and smushing our shoulders into our ears. So truly push the ground away. And then imagine that there's a hook in your tailbone and it's taking your hips up and back. We'll keep a little bend in our knees, and I even step almost as wide as my mat for this first one so I can situate the opportunity to feel length in my front body, side body, and back body here in down dog. Then let's walk our feet forward to our hands to that hip distance parallel position, and inhale, glide our hands up, lift our heart. Exhale, hinge at our hips and fold. Then inhale, rise, reach thumbs to the sky, a V shape, and we pause with our palms facing out. Again, like that, inhale, thumbs to the sky, V, and then exhale, hands to our thighs, shins, or ankles. We'll glide our hands up and inhale, and then palms flat with a bend to our knees. We step back to that down dog and push the ground away right away. Hips go up and back. We find the hook in our tailbone. Then shift to a plank and aim your shoulders right over your wrists. Then find the hook in your tailbone. Let that take you back to down dog. We'll go back and forth 2 more times like that. So shoulders over wrists and then hips up and back. One more time, shoulders over wrists. Feel your whole hand, both hands in your mat. Then back we go to down dog, and we will walk our feet forward to our hands. We're hip distance and parallel. Slide your hands up, inhale, lift your heart, exhale, fold back in, sliding your hands down. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, then pause with our palms facing out. Again like that, inhale, thumbs to the sky. Exhale, hands to thighs, shins or ankles. Slide your hands up, inhale, lift your heart, bend your knees deeply, palms go flat. We step ourselves back to down dog. This time when we shift to plank, let's bring our knees down and spend some quality time in this slightly modified version of a plank. Our knees are further back than if we were to be on all fours. We're still aiming shoulders over wrists. I've got my toes curled under as additional help, and then draw your belly towards your spine. We're not collapsed into our joints, so that same pushing the ground away we spoke of in down dog is true for this plank that we're in. And then we'll shift a little forward and in one piece come to our belly as slowly as we can. Once we're down on our bellies, it becomes a sphinx. Uncurl your toes. Bring your forearms parallel to the long edges of your mat. Traction your elbows towards you. Draw your chest through the gateway of your arms. And then lower down enough that you can curl your toes under. Situate your hands next to your ribs. In one piece, we come to all fours. Then we find the hook in our tailbone and head back into our down dog. From down dog, walk your feet forward to your hands. Feet are hip distance, and we slide our hands up as we inhale and then fold back in, exhaling. Rise, reach, thumbs to the sky as we inhale, and then we pause with our palms turned away from our bodies and our heart lifted. Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Slide your hands up as we inhale and then bend your knees deeply for down dog. So palms are flat first. We push the ground away right away. Shift to plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring your knees to your mat, slowly all the way down onto your belly. Uncurl your toes, either Sphinx pose or Cobra pose, and then lower down. Curl your toes back under, come through all fours. Find the hook in your tailbone that takes you to down dog. Once again, walk forward. We land with our feet hip distance at our hands, and then slide your hands up and inhale. Fold back in as we exhale. Rise, reach, inhale, arms to the sky, thumbs to the sky. We pause with our palms facing out. Inhale, V, and exhale, fold, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Glide your hands up as you inhale. Situate your hands, bend your knees as deeply as that takes to find our down dog. This time, from our down dog, we lift our right leg back behind us, and we'll step our right foot forward. Many of us are going to want to help it along. No shame in that. Once we're down here, let's find our two books or two tall blocks. Place our hands on our tall blocks, framing that right foot, and then heel toe your right foot over to the right. I like a bit of bend in my back knee, left knee, so that it's a little easier to come upright and V-shape my arms to the sky. Then we'll bring our hands back to our blocks, move the blocks out of the way so we can head to down dog. Once we're in down dog, lift your left leg back behind you, step that left foot forward, help it along, bring your blocks into the mix, heel toe that left foot a little bit to the left, likely a bit of bend in our back knee to facilitate coming upright with a V shape, arms to the sky. We'll return our hands to our blocks so we can move them out of our way to come to down dog. And from down dog, we'll push the ground away and once again lift our right leg behind us, step that right foot forward, help it along. Trot our blocks in on either side of our right foot. Use the recipe if you'd like of heel toeing to the right, bending in your back knee. We come upright. We've got different plans upright here if you don't mind. Reach your arms out to the side, turn your thumbs to face down. A fist bump behind your back. If it is something that you can find a prayer behind your back, but the fist bump is just fine as a prayer. And then instead of letting that collapse our chest, Let's smile our collarbones away from one another. Be upright here in our crescent lunge with a prayer behind our heart, like an additional uplift to our heart. And then we'll free our arms out to the side, up to the sky, thumbs to the sky, hands to blocks, and then to our mat for down dog. From our down dog, left leg is going to lift behind us and then step through, and we'll help it along and trot our 2 blocks into the mix. Heel toe, left foot to the left, probably some bend in our right knee so we can come upright and V-shape. Then arms out to the side, thumbs turned down, a fist bump behind our back, or maybe a prayer behind our back. And then we look to smile our collarbones and lift our hearts. A couple moments here. Free your arms out to the side and then thumbs to the sky. Hands to our blocks. We step back to our down dog once again. Remember to push the ground away. And then we'll shift to plank, shoulders over wrists. Bring our knees down in one piece, all the way to our bellies. Uncurl your toes for either Sphinx with your forearms down or Cobra with your hands down. Lower down, curl your toes under, go through all 4s. Find the hook in your tailbone to bring you to down dog. And then we walk forward, our feet come all the way up to our hands. They are hip distance. Inhale, glide your hands up, and exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, a V, and then we'll stand in our mountain with our palms facing out. Another little flow. It's kind of fun to flow, don't you think? Inhale, V shape. Exhale, hinge at your hips and hands to your thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees so your hands can get flat for downward facing dog. This will look familiar. Right leg reaches. We'll step our right foot through, bring our 2 blocks into the mix, and then we come upright into our old friend, crescent lunge. From crescent lunge, however, we will now drop our left heel flat, bring our hands into a prayer in front of our heart, and heel toe our right foot over towards the left. We want a straight line from our right knee to our right ankle. Arms are out to the side, thumbs to the sky. Our bodies are open towards the left side of our mat, and instead of letting that right knee collapse over towards the left, think of your right thigh bone moving towards your right. 3 moments, I'll be quiet. Then we take our right forearm across our thigh, or possibly our right hand onto a book or a block outside there. We're not crumbling to the ground. If it's too long with this right knee bent, you can always straighten it and rebend it. Left arm up to the sky, thumb to the sky. Then turn that left thumb down and bring the back of your left hand to the small of your back. And think about that prayer that we did in our crescent lunge as you turn your heart to the sky in a half bind here. We take 3 moments. Free that left arm up. Take your left hand to your block and spin on your left toes all at the same time. Carefully, props off the side, hands to our mat, we step to down dog. Then from down dog, lift your left leg behind you. Step that left foot forward, upright we go into our crescent lunge. From our crescent lunge, right foot, back foot flat, inch that left foot over to the right. We're open to the right side of our mat, thumbs to the sky. We check to make sure there's a vertical line from our left knee to our left ankle. We remind ourselves that while we're here, if we need to straighten and rebend that front leg, no worries, no problem. Our back foot is at about a 45-degree angle, and we make sure that we're not crumbled into our right knee. There's a feeling of right thigh bone into the hamstring. Then left forearm across our thigh, maybe left hand on a tall block outside of our left foot. And we will take our right thumb to face down and weave the back of our right hand to the small of our back here. I'll be quiet. We'll turn our hearts to the sky together and breathe. 3 moments. Then we free our right arm up. And at the same time, take our right hand to our block and spin on our back toes. Then move our blocks off to the side, palms flat, downward facing dog. Optional to come to plank. You can stay in down dog or bring your knees to your mat for a child's pose. We'll bring our knees down for our plank and lower to our belly if you're flowing with me here. Uncurl your toes for either cobra or a sphinx pose. Then lower down and curl your toes under to come through all fours. And then hips lift us back to down dog. From our down dog, we walk forward all the way up to our hands. Feet are hip distance and we slide our hands up. Inhale, exhale, fold back in. Inhale, rise, reach, thumbs to the sky, and then we stand and pause with our palms facing out. Inhale, arms out and up, thumbs to the sky, V. Exhale, hinge, hands to thighs, shins, or ankles. Inhale, glide your hands up, bend your knees deeply, palms flat. We step to our down dog. One more little flow sequence, right leg reaches, then step it through. Bring your blocks to frame that right foot once again. You could heel toe your right foot over to the right, but we'll keep our left hand on our block and spin our right arm open, thumb to the sky. We're trying to avoid swinging our hips way out to the right. So you'll just do your best to think right hip towards left heel. That helps me. Let's soak in this twist and lunge for 5 silent moments together. Then we unwind our right hand onto our block. We'll straighten our front leg and then turn our left foot flat. And that's an equation that's different for all of us. So your leg might not get fully straight. We're trying to avoid rounding. So I like to use my blocks almost as if I was trying to do that sphinx pose here with a hinge at my hip. This is all about sensation. So if you are feeling a stretch on the back of your right leg right now, you have arrived. And then we try to tease out as much room from the base of our spine out the crown of our head that we can. I'm going to give you that little splash of silent meditation in our stretch here, our pyramid stretch. So 5 moments, just like this. Our left hand stays on our block and our right arm spins open with straight or somewhat straight legs. We're still trying to avoid swinging our butt out towards the right. And then we'll soak for 5 moments in a twisting pyramid. A clean exit. We spin on our back toes, bend our front knee, and return our right hand to our block. Move both blocks off to the side so we can get to down dog. From down dog, our left leg lifts and steps through. Then we'll situate our blocks, framing that left foot. Remember, you can always help it along to step it through. And then right hand will remain on our block. Left arm spins open. We're trying not to swing that left hip out. So all of this is a work in progress. We are, as human beings, ongoing works in progress, don't you think? That is very much the yoga spirit, by the way. A few moments here. And then we return our left hand to our block and straighten that left leg. Turning our right foot flat, we might heel toe our left foot to the left a little bit. And then we find a sweet spot where we can feel length in our spine. We're definitely going to feel the stretch in the back of our left leg. And we give ourselves some space. Space in our bodies, space in our minds And that space can be encouraged by our breath. 5 silent moments here. Then we keep our right hand on our block and our left arm spins open. We're trying not to let that left hip go with it, and it's theoretically a straight left leg, but we're just doing the best we can. We works in progress. 5 moments here in our twist. Then we unwind, left hand to our block, bend our left knee, spin on our right toes, move our blocks off to the side. Step to our down dog. And this time when we reach our right leg back behind us and then step it through, we'll lower our back knee. And many of us will reach to take our folded blanket underneath our left knee. We stack our blocks inside that right foot and make all kinds of little adjustments. So we are works in progress and we are not statues. As you come into this, we are trying to encourage some stillness. So it's not about fidgeting. But if you need to move something consciously, all good. It's humbling to get still. This is humble warrior pose. It's humbling to stretch into our bodies. I think the most humbling thing of all is to try to create a little bit of space in between the incessant thoughts in my head. Know what I'm saying? So I'm going to give you some silence. And we'll see if we can't tease out a little bit of space in our bodies and in our minds. Then we'll come up, sink our teeth into a little hamstring stretch, kind of like our pyramid pose, but here on our knee. And if you want, you can slide that right heel forward, your left knee back, and make it look a little bit more like you're headed towards a vertical split. But remember our conversation in pyramid, we were keeping that length in our spine. Let's bring that here. Let's get quiet once again and tease out space, not just in our hamstring, but in our minds as well as our bodies. A few silent moments here. And then one more thing here on our right side. We'll bend our right knee and place a block or even a couple of blocks or even the cushion from your couch, but something for most of us underneath our right hip as we start to fashion a single pigeon. So this is a tricky, sticky place. We will bend our right knee as much as you want or need to, and it's fine with me if it stays pretty side saddle, especially if you're seated on something. Don't force the issue, but you might begin to straighten your back leg behind you, curl your toes under. It, to me, reminds me of the crescent lunge that we did just a little bit. And you'll think left hip moving as if our 2 hips had flashlights on them and they were facing the front of our mat just a little bit. We stay just a moment or two here in our single pigeon attempt. To come out of this, we lean to our right a bit, free ourselves off of our perch. I'm going to take my 2 blocks as sort of a tall assist to step my left foot forward, our right knee stays back. We stack those blocks, place our forearms on them, and assume our humble warrior side 2, which has humbling aspects physically and, like we covered before, mentally, right? We're trying to find some space in our left hip and especially some space between the thoughts in our head on this side. I'll be quiet. Let's soak. Then we come up, frame our left foot, find our hamstring stretch. If you want it to look a little bit more like you're almost headed to a vertical split, you can slide that left heel forward. We think lengthen our spine. It's a little tip of our hat to our pyramid pose. And lastly, we fashion our single pigeon on this side as best we can. So bend your left knee, create some sort of a little stool for you to sit on with a block or a book. Our left sit bone will go onto that. We bend our left knee as much as we need to, and then we think about swinging that right leg back a little bit, maybe curling our toes under. Maybe for you as well, it's kind of a reminder of the crescent pose that we did, or the crescent lunge that we did. And then a few moments like this. To come out, we want to lean ourselves to the left a little bit. It's going to give us some space to swing our right leg around. Mindfully, we come off of our stoop and we'll lie down onto our backs. Once we're on our backs, a supine twist, which is just a fancy way of saying a lying down twist. Scoot your hips to the right. Let your knees drop to the left, right knee over left knee, if that feels good to you. And a pause here. Then we come through center, scoot our hips to the left, let our knees drop to the right, left knee on top of right knee. And then we come to center and set ourselves up for our Shavasana final meditation. Now you might prefer to keep your knees bent and even knock-kneed with feet a little bit wide. If it feels good to you, you can straighten one leg and then the other. I think of it as lying down into the arms of the earth for our rest and digest. And if you'd like to stay here in your Shavasana final meditation a little bit longer, you're welcome to stay as you are. If you're ready, gently, slowly collect your knees into your chest. Roll to either side. Bring yourself up to any comfortable way for you to sit. Maybe it's cross-legged, maybe you're seated on a block or on a blanket with our palms up or down. Let's hold some space, create some space now for gratitude. So grateful that we can do this. I'm Andrea. I appreciate you practicing with me today, and I look forward to us doing this again